So if you've thought about moving to the Chicago suburbs, you probably have a ton of questions, and today's video is all about pace. I'm gonna answer 20 questions. I'm gonna try to keep each answer less than 30 seconds, but these are 20 of the most common questions I get. Let's not waste any time. I'm gonna try to keep this video under 10 minutes. Let's go. Okay, pumping the brakes really quick. My name is Jimmy Zitnick. I help young professionals make informed decisions when it comes to buying or selling real estate here in the Chicagoland area. So if that sounds like you and you need someone to be your guide through that process, here's my contact information. Feel free to email me, text me, call me, whatever's easiest for you, and I'd be more than happy to help. Let's go. Easily the most common question I get, and sadly there is no clear-cut answer. Every suburb can be the same, but every suburb is so different. It really all is going to depend on big things like how far is your commute, where are you commuting, how often do you need to be there, what type of home are you looking for, and what your budget is. Our school's important. There's so many things that go into this answer, but I'm a little biased. I love the northwest suburbs, Arlington Heights, Crystal Lake, Barrington, anything along that northwest route I absolutely love. But again, no clear-cut answer. Everybody's situation is totally different. Wow, that's kind of a debate here in the Chicagoland area. What constitutes a suburb? What is a suburb? What isn't? I would say 30 to 45 miles-ish surrounding the city. This one's easy. The suburbs are cheaper. Tax bills are a little bit higher in the suburbs, but everyday items, groceries, gas, going to get a drink with a buddy, going to have dinner with the family or with some friends, you're going to save a ton of money in the suburbs. No. The suburban tax bills are very high. Illinois tax bills, property tax bills for that matter, are high in general, well above the national average, but you start to creep out into some of our suburbs into Lake, Kane, McHenry County, DuPage County. Those counties are home to some of the highest property tax bills in the country. So no, sadly not. These suburbs are a little bit more expensive when it comes to the taxes. There are truly a ton of great school districts here in the Chicagoland area, but top 5 are going to be Lincolnshire, Hinsdale, Naperville, Winnetka, and Glenview. Yes, there are a ton of suburbs with walkable downtown. Some of my favorites are going to be Naperville, St. Charles, Barrington, Arlington Heights, Palatine. There's a number of them. Evanston has a wonderful downtown area. So many suburbs have a walkable, livable, lively downtown area, and that's because the suburbs know people coming from the city crave that. Younger professionals, the future of those towns, crave that. That is something that is drawing people by the tens and tens of thousands from all over the country, not just Chicago, but yes, there are a ton, and that is something I can probably break down in a future video. So again, an answer that has some variability to it. Almost every condo or townhome, yes, is going to have an HOA, and that's going to include things like lawn care, snow removal. Sometimes it includes utilities like trash and water, and some will even take it a step further. You might have access to a clubhouse with a pool or a community center, sort of a space for you to throw events in. You request some time with the HOA. Now, same things are included with the single family side of things, except it's not quite as common. I would say most homes do not have an HOA when it comes to the single family side of things, but same things are usually included at the base level, and yes, some have things above and beyond, but again, a lot of variability. So this is a really great question. If you live in a subdivision, picture the suburbs, close your eyes and just picture it. That's probably what you're envisioning, is that white picket fence, big neighborhood, lots of people running around. That's what you're going to get with a subdivision. Homes might be a little bit bigger, a little bit newer. Your yard might be a little bit bigger. As opposed to living in a downtown area, more than likely, not always, but your home's gonna be a little bit older, probably a little bit smaller, but you're gonna have a little bit more walkability. You might be able to go walk down the block and go grab dinner or a drink with your friends or with the family. You might be able to hop on the train super easily and get to the city, whereas in the subdivision, you're probably gonna have to get in your car and drive to wherever it is that you wanna go. The competition is still there, yes. However, is it as crazy as we might have been used to in 2021? No, absolutely not. You're not giving up your third-born kid to get a house. However, if a house is priced correctly, it's clean, and it's in pretty good condition, it is going to be competitive. You will more than likely not be the only offer. So again, have a plan, know exactly what you want, and be comfortable getting uncomfortable and submitting strong offers. Again, another question with a lot of variability. There's a ton of variation when it comes to pricing in the Chicago suburbs. However, if I had to throw kind of a blanket number on each, I would say about $325 for a townhome and upwards of like $450 to $500 for a single family. If I had to give one piece of advice or one thing that you should absolutely know is there is a mass flocking of people moving from the city of Chicago out into the suburbs. And yes, the market has cooled down a little bit nationally, but the suburbs, especially for a home that's priced right, it's still going to be competitive. Get ready to submit some very serious offers. And overall, just don't be out wasting your own time. Be serious, have a plan, and know exactly what you're looking for. Yes, there are a lot of things to do here in the suburbs of Chicago. Now, if you're looking for something super extravagant, Chicago's home to world-class talent, world-class performances. People come from all over the world to go to things that are happening in Chicago. So if you're looking for something like that, no, it's probably not going to be in the suburbs. It's going to be downtown. But if you're looking for something casual, something fun to do on the weekend, yes, I've lived here my entire life, and I maybe go to the city of Chicago 3 or 4 times a year, and it's usually for sporting events. So I find myself very easily entertained here in the suburbs, and I trust that you would too. This is what I love about the Chicagoland suburbs. Every walk of life exists here, truly. Now, of course, you've got all walks of life. Chicago in and of itself is a large melting pot. And when people ultimately want to move out of Chicago, they pour into the suburbs. So you see so many different types of culture, so many different types of vibes here in the Chicago suburbs. It's what I love about it. There's just so much of everything going on. What's the best fit for you? That's ultimately your question to answer. Ooh, great question. I'm actually gonna pop up. I made a video specifically on this question, but in short, Arlington Heights, Naperville, Evanston, Barrington, Lombard, done. The western suburbs feel a little bit more like Chicago. Now, granted, nothing compares to the beast that is Chicago, but the western suburbs have a little bit more going on, a little bit more people. The northwest suburbs feel a little bit more suburban. They're a little bit more laid back. You're gonna find a little bit more land, bigger properties, cheaper price points. Overall, I would say there's some outliers in there, but northwest a little bit more laid back. The west is a little bit more lively. Man, if me or anybody else had the surefire answer to this question, we'd be retired on the beach in Costa Rica. However, I'm gonna say 2 things. One, hate to say it, but it's luck. You might stumble upon an off-market deal or a seller that's in a situation that you might be able to get them out of, and you get a great deal on a property. However, this isn't 2008. We don't have short sales everywhere. There's no fire sale going on for property. So my second thing, aside from luck, is preparedness. It's taking your time. It's not forcing anything. If you think you want to buy in 6 months, get ready today. It doesn't hurt because you never know when that good deal or that hot property might pop up. And these things take longer than you expect, especially in this market when there's no inventory and there are still people buying homes. You need to be prepared, you need to have a plan, and you need somebody that's going to help you get aggressive when the time is right and hopefully lock in that good deal. Oh, this one is tough for me to admit, but being a northwest suburb guy myself, if I had to pick the best food, now granted, I haven't been everywhere, of course, in the suburbs, but I gotta throw it to the western burbs. I have had some of the best dinners in my life in places like Naperville or the Tri-Cities, St. Charles, Batavia, Geneva. I gotta give it to the western suburbs. They've got a lot of creativity out there. There's a lot of good businesses popping up everywhere. And yeah, the western suburbs are my favorite spot for nightlife and dining. Ultimately, I would say the suburbs are trying. Yes, there are public transportation options Do I personally still think you need a car? Yes. However, there are buses. We do have the metro system that can get you from a number of suburbs into the city or into another suburb. So yes, I would say there are options, but I'm always going to recommend, or I'm always going to be a firm believer in, if you're going to be in the suburbs, especially if you start creeping 20, 30, 40 miles outside of the city, you're going to need a car. Otherwise, things get a little bit tough. I always recommend visiting. I think that's the best way for you to surely find out that a suburb is the right fit for you. However, that can be a daunting task. There's hundreds of suburbs to choose from. Which ones do you pick? That's when I think you consult with somebody like me or somebody like me, another trusted real estate agent here in the Chicagoland area, and you sit down on a 30 to 60 minute phone call, go over your goals, go over your wants and your needs, and that person should be able to point you in the right direction and say, you know what, when you come visit, I want you to go look at these 5 spots or these 10 spots. Spend a weekend here, make your commute, go drive to the city if you need to, or take the train and then go spend the day in the city. Come here, visit, get a feel, shop local, go to a coffee store, actually come and spend some time here before you make the move, and you will know instantly whether or not a suburb is going to be a good fit. And that's a wrap. If you have more questions that I missed, leave them down in the comments below, and I'm gonna try to make this video like maybe once a quarter, maybe twice a year or something, just to catch up on comments that I'm receiving. But if you are somebody that's looking to make a move here in or around the Chicagoland area, the suburbs, wherever it might be, I'm gonna throw my contact info up here this time. I'm sick of it covering my face, but please feel free to reach out. I will be your trusted guide, your boots on the ground, and I've been here my entire life. So again, thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking around. And if this video provided you any level of value, like it, comment, subscribe. Really helps me a lot more than you might think it does. And thank you again. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day.